Good afternoon, boys and girls, mommies and daddies, and grandmommies and grandpuppies. We're going to try something new today, me going blind. The glare of my glasses, I think it irritates quite a few people. Today's ventures of Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly and all of their friends. If you read the title, it says fish or school or school of fish. I wonder what that means. Well, first of all, the boys and girls went to school today, and today was the last day to finish up on that great big art piece that went down one wall and turned the corner and went the other wall. And you remember they taped it on the blackboard so they could all reach it. Well, Miss Eileen said to the kids that she would give them extra credit on anything that they added to their square. Now, they could have added a sun and the sky. They could have added a water like a river or a lake. They could have added trees. They could add just anything that they thought they could draw and color, but they had to color what was in their square in the proper colors. Well, I want to tell you right now, that piece was remarkable. Now, some of the little kids, there's a distinction sometimes in classes. Some of the kids are not as imaginative, and so they don't know that they can maybe make a tree, or some just wait to be taught to make a tree. Other kids, they just go out and they draw that tree and they put apples in that tree. I mean, they just have imaginations. It's really interesting to see what all the boys and girls did. Well, they all, even the little ones that didn't really know too much about drawing, they all did enough to get extra credit. Oh my goodness gracious. And Miss Eileen had been looking at the art drawing last night before she left school. And she thought to herself, you know, these boys and girls really did a good job. She says, I think what we're going to do, she says, I think we're going to have a pizza party. So all the boys and girls did not go to the lunchroom today. They had pizza delivered by Marco's Pizza. Oh. That was so good. And she got the little old world pepperonis. Kids just loved it. They were just having a great time. And so she said, now, she looked around the room and she says, now, boys and girls, you kind of wonder why come I ordered a pizza today, and we all stayed in the room and ate pizza for lunch. We had some nice orange juice to go with it, and we had some nice cold water to go with it. Do you boys and girls have any idea why I did that? Well, they sat there and they sat there and they sat there, and all of a sudden Patty Pig says, I might know part of the answer. And so Miss Eileen says, okay, Patty, tell me what you think. And she says, well, she said, we finished our art project. Did we get any extra credit? Well, she knew she did. You know, sometimes Patty Pig thinks a lot of herself, sometimes. And other times she's just a real sweet girl. And this time she was kind of thinking a lot of herself because she knew she was good. She was a pretty good artist, and she had a good color mind, and so that's important. Well, Miss Eileen had to laugh, and she said, yes, she said, all of you boys and girls, I went through this last night before I left. Oh, gracious sakes. Pain just went through my eyes. She said, before I went home, and she said, you all have done so good, and I'm giving you extra credit The highest you can go would be to get your regular 100 points, and anything over 100, and the cap was 125. And I had 10 of you boys and girls made 125 points. And the rest of you boys and girls, you came in anywhere from 105 to 115. I am just really proud of you boys and girls. You did such a good job. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut it apart, and everybody gets to take their parts home and show their parents. But first, she says, I want to take some pictures. She says, I'm going to take a video that's like a movie. Now, you know that, boys and girls? And they all said, yes, they knew that. She says, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to scan the room like this. And then I'm going to stop. And she said, and I want all you boys and girls to line up in front of your squares. Oh, boy. So she took the video, and they all ran up and lined up in front of their squares, and then she took another video. And then she said, okay, we're going to cut them up now, and you can take them home. Well, what she was going to do with that video, she was going to put that on the school news, because she just thought the first grade, I mean, some kids just scribble in the first grade, you know? So she was really proud of her boys and girls, and so that's what she wanted the video for. And she wanted everybody to stand beside their picture so all the teachers and the principal, Mrs. Lee, could see how good they did. Well, it come time to go home, and everybody was picking up their own boys and girls. And Piggly and Wiggly and Squiggly, they got in the car and they said, oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. They said, well, we don't have any homework today. Mama, do you have anything that you want us to do around the house or anything? And she says, no. She said, I think everything's pretty good. She said the yard doesn't need mowing, and she said there's no oranges on the tree to be picked. She said, so I think you all could do whatever you want to this afternoon. Just be home by, and they all said 5:30. And she said, yes, that's right, unless you run into one of your friends and they have to be home earlier. Oh, Mama. And they just laughed because they knew that none of their friends had to be home before 5:30. So they go out in the yard, and they change their clothes, of course, and they go out in the yard. And they had some rubber boots on because it had been raining, and some of the woods is kind of low, and so it gets kind of muddy and wet and everything, and so they wanted to wear their rubber boots. And so they're going down the path, and of course, who do they meet but Little Bad Wolf, because he was coming up to their house, and they were kind of going down toward his house. And he had his rubber boots on too, because, you know, Mr. Farmer Brown always wears his rubber boots because you never know what he's going to be doing. So he's always got his rubber boots with him, and he's got his big boots with him, his work boots, so that he can, if he's working like in the workshop, and he's got, you know, hammers and saws and nails and things, he wears these good heavy work boots. So Little Bad Wolf had his on, his rubber boots on, and he said to the boys, he says, how about let's go in and find Allie? And they said, yep, that's always a good idea. What do you think we're going to do this afternoon? Little Bad Wolf says, well, I don't know. He says, I've been having a hankering to go fishing. And Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly, they jumped up and down, and they said, so have we. We haven't been fishing forever. We didn't go It was October when we went fishing last, just before it got cold. Gosh, it sure was, wasn't it? Squiggly said. Wow. Well, let's go find Allie the alligator, and we'll see what we got. So they found Allie the alligator, and he said, hey, I know what we can do. Let's take my new boat that I bought over to Princess Hannah's castle when we were over there. Remember, I bought that boat, and it's been too cold to take anybody out for a ride on the boat, but we can use that boat for fishing too, can't we? Oh my goodness gracious. They had such a good time, and Little Bad Wolf helped Allie the alligator row because they could go faster that way, and they rowed down the river, and they went over into this lake over here, and the fish were jumping. Oh, and that's always a good sign. When the fish jumps out of the water, you know you're going to catch some fish that day. And sure enough, between the three of them, they caught 21 fish. Do you know that is 7 fish for each one of them? Okay, you got to count Piggly, Wiggly, and Squiggly as one person. And that's okay, because 7 fish is 7 different dinners. Well, no, not really. It's only one dinner for the 3 of them, because they've got 4 people in their family. Well, anyway, they all had enough fish for one dinner. So they divided them up, and they were all, thank goodness, the same size. Just about the same size, about this big. They were nice fish. They were bass. Bass is so good. Well, they went home, and each one of the mamas, Mrs. Farmer Brown, Alice, the Alice alligator, and Mommy Piggy, oh my goodness gracious, they made such a fuss over those boys. And they said, now boys, you know the rule. If you catch them, you got to clean them. I cook them. That's the 3 C's. Cook, clean, and catch. Or catch, clean, and cook. Depends which direction we're going to go. So they did. They went out. They had been taught how to clean the fish. And they went out and they cleaned the fish. And oh, that was such a good supper. Nice, fresh fish. And Mommy Piggy knows how to make hush puppies. Oh, they're so good. Hush puppies are so good. So Alice Alligator, in the meantime, she was cooking her fish after Allie cleaned it. And she decided that she was going to have some homemade French fries. Oh, my goodness gracious. But you know what she was going to do? She was going to make French fries out of sweet potatoes. Oh, that is so good. Oh, my goodness gracious. That is so good. And Mrs. Farmer Brown, oh, no. Mrs. Farmer Brown, she was having cornbread. She was having cornbread, and she had some black-eyed peas. Oh, goodness gracious sakes alive. Everybody ate good that night with all that 21 fish all divided up. Well, tomorrow is Thursday, and Friday we celebrate Valentine's Day. And I did look up when Valentine's, and it's on a Sunday. Actually, my very, very first grandbaby was born on Valentine's Day. How about that? And this year, and I won't tell you how old she is now, because you'll think I'm real old. I am, but we won't say that. Anyway, she is going to run in a marathon on her birthday down in Fort Lauderdale. Isn't that interesting? It's a good thing schools are closed on Monday, because that's when they're coming back, on Monday. Well, I think that's going to be all. It's a short story, but it was interesting. And they did meet up with Patty Pig when they came home. And she looked at him and she said, you boys didn't ask me to go fishing. Patty Pig does like to go fishing. She's pretty good. She's a pretty good fisherman. And they promised her faithfully that they would ask her the next time they went fishing. Because she says, you know, I do like to do some of the things that you boys do. And they just laughed and they said, yep, we know you do, Patty. So, GrandMommy is going to say bye-bye for this time. Now, hello to everybody that I know. I'm not naming names today. And I thought I had something else to tell you folks. Don't know what it was now. Can't remember, I guess. It was kind of important too. Oh well. Remember now, like, comment, and share. Okay? And we will see you Friday for the big naming party. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's it. Bye-bye. Gotta get my glasses on for this one now because I can't see all that little fine print down the bottom. Okay, finished. Bye, guys.